the next subunit, process costing. What is process costing? Process costing basically is a cost accumulation system that is suitable when we produce large number of homogeneous products. For example, we have two processes, process 1, process 2, when we produce items in large quantity for mass market. So what we will do, we will accumulate our cost for each processes separately, for process 1 separately, for process 2 separately. So the units are moved from one process to another, and we will establish what is the per unit cost for process 1 and per unit cost of process 2, and based upon this valuation we will determine the cost of goods transferred to the next department, the cost of the goods still laying at the end of the period with process 1, or the cost of ending work in process still laying with the process 2, and the final cost of the items transferred to your finished goods stock. So how this is done, there are some steps that you need to learn very well. First, summarize physical units. You need to segregate your physical units into three categories. Those physical units which were there in the beginning work in process, those physical units which were started and completed during the period, and those physical units that are still there at the ending work in process. So you need to summarize your physical units and split them into these three populations. I will show you how do we do that. Then the second step is to calculate the equivalent units of production for material and conversion cost. We know conversion cost is the sum of direct labor and your manufacturing overhead or the factory overhead, which is of course the combination of your fixed and variable overheads. The third step is accumulate total cost. Total cost for material and for conversion cost, which is of course the sum of your direct labor and manufacturing overhead. The fourth step is calculate cost per EUP, equivalent unit of production. We'll discuss this, all these steps. And finally, the last step, apply the above rate to value your work in process and the goods completed in the current department. So let us discuss these steps one by one. The first step, summarize physical units. You need to segregate your production units into three classifications, as I told you. Those that were there in the beginning work in process, those that you started and completed, and those that are in the ending work in process. This is the first step you need to be quite comfortable with before you can solve any process costing question. Now here's the example. In process beginning, these 5,000 are in the beginning work in process. Transferred in, we received 20,000 units from the previous department and the current month, and out of the total units we had, 15,000 were transferred out, means completed, and 10,000 are still in the ending work in process. Now this is important to learn. If you take your total goods completed during the period, total units completed or transferred out during the period, out of these 5,000 were in the beginning work in process, then definitely 10,000 are those units which were started during the period and completed, and remaining 10,000 should be your ending work in process. Now let me show you the mathematical equilibrium here. These 5,000 were in the beginning work in process right here. Okay, we completed 15,000 units during the current period, transferred out. Out of these, 5,000 were from the beginning work in process, which means the remaining 10,000 would be the started and completed. Started and completed. Now that shows us that if we started work on 20,000 units, out of these 10,000 are completed, then remaining 10,000 should be in the closing work in process or ending work in process. This is in the perfect mathematical harmony. All units are perfectly accounted for. This is the very first step. Summarize physical units and separate them into three populations of units: beginning work in process, started and completed, and the ending work in process. So once you have segregated your units into three populations, beginning work in process, started and completed, and ending work in process, the next step is to calculate the EUPs for material and conversion cost. Now what are EUPs? What are the equivalent units? Equivalent units for material, could be for labor also, but we combine labor and manufacturing overhead combine and call it conversion cost. So equivalent units of material and conversion cost are hypothetical units for computation purpose. So equivalent units for material and conversion cost are equal to the amount of material or the amount of conversion cost needed to complete units. Again, what are equivalent units of material or conversion cost? Equivalent units are hypothetical units for computational purposes, material needed to complete certain number of units, or the conversion cost needed to complete certain number of units. Let's say if we have added 500 kg of material during the current period and each unit takes 10 kg, for example, that means these 500 kg worth of material should be able to produce 50 units, right? Maybe we might be working on 60 units or maybe 70 units. Some are partly completed, but the material that we have added is sufficient enough to produce 50 units of completed units for material. So this is what you call the equivalent units of production of material. Same goes for conversion cost. So again, what are equivalent units? Equivalent units for material or conversion cost are equal to the amount of direct material or conversion cost necessary to complete 1 unit of production. I will explain this concept as we go along. Now here is a nice example. Company X would like to produce 10,000 units during the first quarter. The company obtains the raw material inputs prior to the production of each unit and has applied the necessary direct labor and manufacturing overheads to complete 75% of the production during the first 2 months. Now we want to produce 10,000 units. We have added all the material that was needed, and we have incurred 75% of the conversion cost that was needed to complete the production. Now, when preparing its internal monthly production reports, Company X would indicate that it has 10,000 units 100% complete as to direct material. So we can say that these 10,000 actual units, they are 100% complete with regard to material. So we can say that there are 10,000 equivalent units of production of material. And since only 75% conversion cost has been incurred, that would mean that the conversion cost that has been added is sufficient enough to complete 7,500 units. Now, since material is 100% incurred, so we have 10,000 EUPs of material, but only 75% conversion cost was added. That means even they are 10,000 units, but from conversion cost point of view, they would be considered at 7,500 EUPs. That's the idea. It will be further explored as we go along. Another important point that must be remembered is that at what point in time do we add material? Some processes might require the material to be added at the beginning of the process. In some production processes, the material is to be added during the production process. And in a very rare situation, you might have a condition where the material is added at the end of the production when the unit is completed. And what about the conversion cost, which of course is the sum of your direct labor and manufacturing overhead? Remember, whether the question says it or not, conversion costs are always added evenly. As the production process progresses, the conversion costs are added evenly, proportionally as the period passes. So let's say if the production is 50% complete, that means the conversion cost is added up to 50%. When the production process is 90% complete, we can say that the conversion cost has been added up to 90%. So conversion cost is added proportionally, or it is added evenly. Even if the question is silent, we should always assume that conversion cost is added proportionally as the time progresses. Next, we have two methods of calculating EUPs for material and conversion cost. They are weighted average and FIFO. What is the difference? In weighted average, there is no distinction between the current cost and the prior cost for material and conversion cost. So it's an averaging process where the previous cost added in the previous period and the current cost, they are combined to calculate your rate for EUP for material and conversion cost, whereas FIFO considers the current cost only. How it's done, let me show you. Assume the following information: work in process beginning 100 units, 25% complete, units completed and transferred out 600, and work in process ending 200 units, 40% complete. Compute the EUPs using the FIFO method and the weighted average cost method. I told you it is always advisable to split your production units into 3 populations. First is the beginning work in process, started and completed, and ending work in process. We have 2 systems to discuss for costing purposes, FIFO and the weighted average. Now, how many units were there in the beginning work in process? 100. We completed 600 units during the period. Out of these, 100 were from the beginning work in process, which means 500 would be the started and completed, and remaining 200 is the ending work in process. Now, since FIFO considers the current cost only, so under FIFO, 25% work was already done in the previous period. We added only 75% during the current period. 75% of 100 units would be 75 EUPs. 500 units started and completed during the current period will be 100%, and the ending work in process is 40% complete. 40% of 200, that will be just 80. So if you go for the weighted average, remember, for weighted average, beginning work in process is always 100% complete. Whatever the number of units you see here, you put straight away the number right here. Started and completed are always 100% complete, and the ending work in process is 80. Remember, the weighted average method and the FIFO, they only differ with regard to the computation of beginning work in process. Rest of these would be the same. So the total EUPs under FIFO is going to be 655, and under weighted average is going to be 680. So this is a quick way to learn. EUPs may be computed using either FIFO or weighted average method. FIFO method specifically accounts for the work to be completed, and the weighted average method blends the units in the previous periods and the current. That's why the units completed, like in the previous example, what you will take here, the beginning work in process, and the units completed during the period 600 units would be here, and the ending work in process was total 200 units multiplied by 40%, so that would be 80. But under the FIFO method, it's a 3-step process. I recommend that you should split these into 3 as well. You should write 100 here, 500 here, and 80 here, so that will make things much more easier. And in this situation, when you have FIFO method, you will take 100 times the level of completion, 25%. Previously, 75% was work done this period, so it's going to be 75, 580. So that's the point of difference between these two methods. They will differ with regard to the computation of the opening work in process. So once we have calculated EUPs for material and conversion costs, next step is to accumulate the total costs. Total costs for weighted average, that is the cost in the beginning inventory plus current cost added divided by the EUPs that calculated under the weighted average method. But FIFO, remember, considers the current cost only. Current cost divided by UP. So remember these formulas, we will use them to calculate the rate. So we will accumulate the cost first, and in the fourth step we will calculate the cost per UPs, and this is the rate. This is the rate we will use to value our goods completed and the value of the goods that is still in the ending work in process. So let us do a comprehensive example, but let's discuss first the last point. Apply the rates to value your work in process at the end and goods completed and transfer to the next department. So here's a comprehensive example, and we will do all the 5 steps here one by one so that we fully understand the idea. Now this is a good question. It's a comprehensive example. Let us jot down the relevant information here. Comprehensive example, process costing under FIFO and weighted average. We have percent of completion given in the first column, materials, conversion costs, and total. Units in process May 1st, materials 100% added, 4,000 units of material, and conversion cost 40% complete, and there are 4,000 units. So this 4,000 here are the physical units, not EUPs. We will calculate EUPs in our first step. Then we have units started and completed in May, material 100% added during the period on 10,000 units, and conversion cost on 10,000 units. These are also the physical units. Units and process May 31st, materials 100% complete, 2,000, and conversion cost only added up to 80%, 2,000. Remember, these are the physical units, and the beginning work in process, physical units completed during the period, and physical units at the end, not EUPs. It further says that the costs associated with the beginning work in process, these 4,000 units carry 1,000 worth of material. These 4,000 conversion cost units have 3,000 conversion cost, that is the direct labor and manufacturing overhead. It further says that the cost added during the current period on these units 10 and to 12, 24,000. And the conversion cost added was 49,000, some partly from the opening work in process and remaining on these 12,000 units. So we have been given all what we need. Let us follow our step-by-step approach, and then I will show you how we do. The first step says summarize the physical units. Now this is the first step here. Beginning work in process 4,000 units. Units started and completed 10,000. And ending work in process 2,000. This is the first step. We have to separate our units of production, physical units of production. Remember, physical, actual units of production into three population: beginning work in process, started and completed, and ending work in process. That's your first step. Next step is to calculate the EUPs for material and conversion cost. Now listen, since 100% material on these 4,000 units were already added in the previous period, no material was added during the current period, so I'm going to write just nothing under material. Then what about conversion cost? 40% conversion cost was added in the previous period, that's included in the beginning work in process. We would have added the remaining 60% of the conversion cost during the current period, so 60% of 4,000 would give you 2,400. Started and completed, by definition, it is always 100% complete. In ending work in process, 2,000 units. These 2,000 units which we have in the ending work in process, all material was added 100%. So material wise, they are 100% complete. So you're going to write 2,000 here. And from conversion cost point of view, only 80% conversion cost added. That's why they are in the ending work in process. So 80% 2,000, that's going to be 1,600. So this is for FIFO, 12,000 EUPs for material and 14,000 EUPs for conversion cost. Now what about weighted average? Remember, it's very important. For weighted average method, your beginning work in process will always be complete 100% for material and conversion cost. That's the only difference between beginning work in process in FIFO and weighted average. Rest of the units EUPs would be the same, 10,000 for material and 10,000 for conversion cost, same like FIFO, and 2,000 for material ending work in process and 1,600. So if you add these up, you will have 4, 10, 14, 16,000. And here you will have 15,600. So second step is done. In the third step, we need to accumulate the total cost separately for FIFO, only the current cost, and for the weighted average, the all cost, previous cost and the current cost combined. So remember, FIFO considers the current cost only, so the current cost is going to be 24,000 for material and 49,000 for the conversion cost. So remember, this is the total cost. We are accumulating the total cost, $24,000 for material and 49,000 for conversion cost, the current cost only. Remember, cost associated with May production. But in weighted average, we consider the current and the previous cost together. The cost in the opening work in process for material and cost of conversion cost in the beginning work in process. So 1,000 plus 24,000 is going to be 25,000. And for conversion cost is going to be 3,000 plus 49, 52,000. Now what we have, gentlemen and ladies, we have the total cost for weighted average method for material and conversion cost, previous and current combined. But for FIFO, we only consider the current cost. This was your third step. So your fourth step is going to be the calculation of cost per EUP of material and cost per EUP of conversion cost. Remember, this was your first step, calculation of the physical quantities of your units into three population. This was your second step, calculation of your EUPs. This was the third step, accumulation of total cost. Now we are going to do the fourth step, that is to calculate the cost per unit. Cost per EUP. How many EUPs are there for material? 12,000. So 24,000 upon 12,000, $2. 49,000 divided by 14,000. So the cost per conversion cost per EUP of production, it is going to be 49 by 14 is 3.5. Then we'll do the same thing for weighted average, 25,000 divided by 16, they'll give you 1.56. And 52,000 divided by 15,600 EUPs of conversion cost, that will give you 3.33. So that was your fourth step. Okay, the fifth step, apply the above rate to value your work in process and goods completed. This is the last step. This last step is going to be much simpler for weighted average, but it will be little complex for FIFO. Let me explain this to you. what we will do under weighted average method, how many units did we complete during the period plus the previous period? We completed a total of 14,000 units, right? 4,000 in the beginning work in process and 10,000 started and completed. So if we want to calculate the value of goods completed, there are 16,000 units in EUPs, but out of this 14,000 were completed during the current period. These 14,000 units will carry with them material at the rate of 1.56 plus conversion cost at the rate of 3.33. So 14,000 units completed multiplied by 1.56 plus 3.33. This will give you the value of the goods completed during the current period. So it gives me a total of 68,400. This is the value of goods completed during the period. What about the value of work in process under weighted average? Work in process calculation is little different. What you will do, you will take the EUPs of material separately and value them at this rate 1.56. And you will value the EUPs of conversion cost. Remember, physical units are 2,000. Hypothetical imaginary units for our computation or conversion costs are 1,600. So 1,600 multiplied by 3.33. It comes out to be 8,448. So this is the value of your work in process and this is the value of your goods completed. Now this is little different under the FIFO method. Since FIFO considers the current cost only for the rate purpose, what about the previous cost incurred? We can't ignore this. So what we do in the FIFO method, let us first calculate the cost of goods completed. Remember, we completed 10,000 EUPs for material during the current period to be valued at the rate of 2. And to this we must add the material added during the previous period and the cost was $1,000. So it was not that we ignored the previous period cost under FIFO. In weighted average, the previous period cost is already included in the total cost. But in the FIFO method, we add the previous cost separately and then the goods are transferred out to the next department. So this is the material cost that was already included in the beginning work in process. Now it's being considered. It's here under FIFO and it is right here under the weighted average method. Now, what about the conversion cost completed units during the period? We completed 12,400 EUPs, which are now completed units to be valued at the rate of 3.5. This would give the conversion cost added to the goods completed. What about the conversion cost that was previously added in these opening work in process units? That was 3,000. See, this 3,000 which we are adding here, it was already included here in the weighted average method. Now if you calculate this all, this will give you the value of goods completed and transferred to the next department. It comes out to be 67,400, which is somewhat similar to this cost, but this is much more relevant because it considers the current cost separately from the previous cost. It's good for cost controlling purpose. Then what about the ending work in process? Value of the ending work in process can be calculated by just multiplying 2,000 EUPs of material with the rate 2 plus 1,600 EUPs of conversion cost with the rate 3.5. So it's going to be 4,000 plus 1,600 multiplied by 3.5. It's going to be 9,600. Now you might be surprised at why the cost is higher under FIFO method for the ending work in process. The reason is right here. Your unit cost for material and conversion cost has gone up over the period. So what was your previous unit cost for material? 1,000 by 4,000 was 0.25 and 3,000 by 4,000 was 0.75 for conversion cost and 0.25 for material. What has happened now? $24,000 divided by 12,000, it is, see, you can well imagine now the cost has gone up. It's $2 for material and do the same for conversion cost. 49,000 divided by 12,000. It is 4.08 for conversion cost. Since your per unit cost for material and conversion cost has gone up and FIFO separates the current and previous costs, that is the reason you see a higher value of your ending work in process because of the higher cost. That's the benefit of using FIFO, that your current costs are separated and you can then compare your current period cost with the previous rate, and then this could help us control costs. So this was our last step. Let's just briefly review. This was your first step, physical separation of the units into three populations: beginning work in process, started and completed, and ending work in process. In second step, we calculated EUPs for material and conversion cost. In the third step, we calculated the total cost for FIFO, only current cost, and weighted average combined previous period and current cost. In the fourth step, we calculated the cost per EUP, that is this upon this, and we calculated these rates. And in the last step, we were able to calculate the value of goods completed during the current period under both methods, and finally we were able to calculate the work in process value at the end of the period under both methods. The last area in process costing is spoilage. What is spoilage, or sometimes called shrinkage? It is the loss during the period. Let's say if we start work on 100 units during the period, maybe we end up getting only 95 good units, remaining 5% are wasted. So this is called spoilage or shrinkage. So there are two types of spoilage. One is normal spoilage. Normal spoilage is something that is expected during the production process. It's a part of production process. It's unavoidable, at least in the short run. So normal spoilage is expected. What is the effect on unit cost? It will cause the unit cost to go up because this is the loss which is kept within the cost of production. So the normal spoilage will increase your unit cost. And what about the accounting treatment? I said this cost is kept within the good units. It is not treated separately. But if we talk about the abnormal spoilage is the loss that should not have occurred. And this loss is excluded from your unit cost of production, and it is treated as a separate loss for the period. It is not made as a part of product cost. It is considered as a loss for the period, or it's a period cost. So there's a good question that will explain the idea. Fresh Baked Company produces ready-to-serve fruit pies for local restaurants and supermarkets. During the month of April, the company had the following costs related to the production of 20,000 pies. Pie ingredients 45,000, baking labor 24,000, plant production overheads 11,000, sales and marketing 500, general and administrative expenses 1,200, normal spoilage and abnormal spoilage. Okay. Please note these spoilages are in dollars. So you can consider that this $400 includes all the cost of production, that is direct material, direct labor, and your manufacturing overhead. Now the question is, what is the per unit cost of the pies assigned to inventory for April? Remember, we'll take the production cost, direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, and as we just discussed, the normal spoilage cost, it is considered as a part of production cost. $400 lost on normal spoilage, it is considered as a part of production cost, and it becomes part of these 20,000 pies per unit cost. If you add all of these, you will get $80,400, and this must be divided with the good pies, excluding the normal spoilage. So dividing it with 20,000 units, it will give you the per unit cost of $4.02, right? Now what amount will the company assign as a period expense for the period? For April. So this sales and marketing, it's a period expense, not a part of product cost. This 1,200 general and administrative is a period expense, period cost. And finally this 200 abnormal spoilage, material, labor and overheads incurred on these units, this $200, it will be considered as a period cost. If you add all these, it would give you a total of $1,900. So this is quite evident now from this example that your normal spoilage, here it is, normal spoilage increases your unit cost, and that's what it has done here. This $400 right here, it was included here as a part of production. This 400 was included here, so it raised your unit cost. But what about the abnormal spoilage? Abnormal spoilage, it is treated separately. It is excluded from the cost of production, and it is treated as a period expense. So this was an important point to note. Normal spoilage is made the part of product. It increases your cost of production, whereas the abnormal spoilage is excluded and it is considered as a period loss. It should not be allowed to become a part of production because we should not allow our inefficiency to become a part of product. Hence, your abnormal spoilage will not affect your unit cost. So that completes your module 2, cost accounting part 2.